Seriously, again, that was my reaction when I saw that Zebec recently announced how they're going to be appearing in yet another soccer match. Now, before I explain more about this, I first want to explain nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But did you know that Zebec recently made an announcement that, again, basically they're going to be appearing in another soccer match, in which case it's going to be in the Bundesliga, and it's going to be a soccer match between Borussia Dortmund against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I think this is pretty cool. Now, the thing is, I've actually been to Dortmund before, and I don't know why, when I went there, it kind of reminded me of Dublin, Ireland, just like the vibe of it, like the buildings and stuff like that, but I'm just saying still, besides that point. However, keep in mind, by the time I upload this video, maybe the soccer match has already happened, but in case it hasn't, I still think it's pretty cool, but in case it has, I also think it's really cool, but you know what? As of right now, the perspective is from me, just kind of taking a look at the impact, maybe, of what this soccer match and what Zebec appearing in that specific match could hypothetically, I guess, do for Zebec. And apparently the soccer match is going to happen on May 3rd from 11:30 a.m. ET, or should I say 5:30 p.m. CET. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. But besides that point, I think this would be pretty cool because I actually saw this statistic not too long ago stating how, on average, right, from the 2025 to 2026 season, when it comes to the Bundesliga, it kind of averaged around 42,000 people attending these Bundesliga games. And keep in mind, that's just assuming like people who are in attendance in the actual stadium, right? We don't take into consideration people that take a look at it later on social media, people who take a look at the highlights later, people who, maybe watch the full game later on, who knows? So sometimes we don't really consider that. So that's pretty massive. I think that's pretty good exposure actually when it comes to something like Zebec. And of course, they're doing this alongside in the case of Tangem. Now, also, what I find pretty interesting about this is that even at a time like this, I'm surprised that, Zebec still has the budget to do this type of stuff. Which people like to say, what do you mean? Like being surprised to see that they have the budget to do this type of stuff? Well, it's because, first of all, let's consider the market conditions are not doing the best. And also, a lot of other projects out there, we see the team ceasing operations, right? Basically, they're announcing that they're stopping their operations, in which case the token is still around, but the team, they're just not around anymore. So at the same time, when I see a lot of other projects experience that, and also not too long ago, seeing Simon, the CEO of Zebec, announce a Ripple partnership, and then still appearing in more Bundesliga games, I find that to be pretty impressive, actually. And when people like to say, oh, Zebec's cooked. But from what I can see from their actions so far, it just doesn't seem like that to me. Now, keep in mind, people like to say, but how is this good timing? Even though the market isn't doing the best, Zebec just recently had a partnership when it comes to Ripple. So I think if people maybe didn't really know what Zebec was, and maybe, they kind of heard about Zebec having a partnership with Ripple, maybe that could, have an effect as to how they view Zebec later on in that soccer match. Now, keep in mind, people like to say, but when it comes to Zebec, they haven't made an official announcement yet when it comes to the Ripple partnership. They say that means it didn't happen. Well, let's take this into consideration. I, first of all, can't show a clip of, Simon actually announcing that Ripple partnership because I don't own that video, right? I didn't record it. But the thing is, even though Zebec has not made an official announcement yet, and even though Ripple hasn't, Simon literally said that there is a partnership in regard to Zebec and Ripple. So when people like to say, but yeah, Zebec hasn't announced that yet, Ripple hasn't announced that yet. Yes, it's true. But at the same time, I mean, Simon did say that, and Simon is the CEO of Zebec. So what? I'm not going to believe him? I mean, who knows? People like to say, oh, he's, just joking. Seriously? Why would he joke about something like that? Keep in mind, he was a keynote speaker at XRP Las Vegas. That's when he announced it. You think he's going to make a joke at that massive of a scale? Or in that massive of a stage, I should say? I highly doubt that. You know what? It's not April 1st. You know what I mean? It's not April Fool's. It's not like he's making some random joke. That's not the case, in my personal opinion. But still, we're waiting on Zebec actually making an official announcement from themselves. But, you know what? Simon, the CEO of Zebec, making that announcement in real life, basically at XRP Las Vegas, that's already kind of like an official announcement, in my opinion, as official as it probably gets. Now, we haven't kind of formalized it yet in a sense where Zebec hasn't made a post about it, but Simon did mention that. So I think actually that partnership in regard to Ripple and as well as Zebec, I think it put it in a better position, right, to be actually appearing in, let's say, a Bundesliga soccer match, because I think hypothetically more people could actually recognize it as opposed to before. But even besides that, people oftentimes like to tell me that Zebec's doing this, right, appearing in soccer matches. It's having a partnership with Ripple. It's already had a partnership with Stellar. We've already seen Algorand, but why are the charts not doing anything? They like to say that. If anything, they say it's not doing the best. But okay, I mean, if I just started caring about Zebec like 24 hours ago, then okay, yeah, I get it. It's down almost 7% in the past 24 hours. But in the past 30 days, the recovery has been around 30%. Keep in mind, in the past 365 days, the movement has been around 115%. Not to mention, when I first believed in this, the market cap was below 100 million. So yes, if I just believed in it yesterday, sure, I wouldn't be too happy, I guess, but I didn't believe in it yesterday, right? I believed in this for well over a year, so I can't really say that Zebec is doing so bad. Is it doing really bad compared to its peak last year? I mean, it's kind of 50-50, right? I mean, at the same time, sure, it's around a 300 million market cap. Last year, we saw around 540 million, but it's not like it dropped 95% or something like that. So for the category of an altcoin, is it doing good? No, but it's not necessarily doing so bad like what a lot of people like to say it is, I suppose, because if they're comparing this with a project that had a 95% pullback from its peak last year, I just don't think Zebec falls under that category. Did it have a pullback from last year? Of course, but it wasn't like 95% or whatever. But even besides that, even if I take a look at it from when I first believed in it, it's actually over 3 times higher right now when compared to when I first believed in it. So it's not like I just believed in this yesterday, but I'm just saying, besides that point though, my time horizon isn't necessarily 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. That's not the case. My time horizon is maybe years, if need be. I mean, I don't know how long I'm gonna have to wait, but I'm just saying, like, even if it has to be years, I'll wait. I'll gladly wait actually, because for me, I'm not concerned. What I'm focused on is the fundamentals, and I don't mind waiting, because if I just kind of put myself in a position, let's say me a decade ago, right? Let's say 10 years ago, was I still continuing on living my life, brushing my teeth and stuff like that? Yes, I was. But 10 years ago, I didn't even care about like Bitcoin or the space or something like that. I just didn't care, right? But it still did its thing without me. So from what I learned from that situation, wasn't that, oh, I regret that? No, I mean, I think there is no point in me regretting the past because I can't go back in time. But I'm just saying I can use that as a learning lesson for me. And from that lesson, I learned that, you know what, the market, it's going to do its thing with or without me. So if I don't care, you know what, the market doesn't care either. If I care, the market also doesn't care either. But personally, for me, again, I can't go back in time. So I just like to focus on the present and maybe take a look at past lessons and, use it for the present and maybe, you know what, apply that, right? I guess that's what I do. So, yes, Zebec hasn't been doing the best. And yes, the market is still not doing the best. But from what I learned from the past is that, you know what, there might be ups and downs, but if the market were to recover, it doesn't wait for me and it doesn't care if I'm in there or not. So sometimes I just like to stay waiting. That's the way I view it. I mean, I don't have to wait. I don't necessarily have to care about any project within this space, but I want to, though. I voluntarily want to because I do like some projects. That's the thing. As long as Zebec keeps building, as long as they keep doing things, I don't mind waiting. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Willie the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.